Good morning. How are you?
Good, good. How's it going?
I am fighting nausea this morning, so I'm not going to be on camera. Good old
Uh,
seasonal change here in Indiana, the place where it goes from being like, 37 at night to 72 in the daytime.
mm, I don't really
Yeah,
know what that's like, but okay.
it's like what I sound, buddy, let me tell you.
Oh, well, might be a small group. I think this might be one of the last Fridays we do it at 7 a.m. my time. I think I'm gonna switch it to 8 to 8:30 or maybe I'll just have to switch my day altogether because, or it's just me. One of the two. One of the things are going on. But any success stories? Any things that are going on?
Today I am going to be meeting with a family. The dad, I mean, that it's probably a little too late for the dad because they had to do their spend down already to get him on Medicaid and Medicare. However, mom is not yet on Medicaid, so we're gonna sit down and kind of do a collection of the brains and do like a mind dump, and then I'm gonna take all the information to my bot and see who I have that can help them.
Nicely done. Good morning, Lisa.
Good morning.
Yeah.
How are y'all?
Mm, good, good.
You look a
Any
little sleepy.
success stories?
Yeah, I went and did that orchestra at the senior living community last night. So I went and recorded some of that, and they were very happy to see that I showed up. And I think it just kind of further established a little bit more of a relationship there. So
Nicely done. That's all it's about. I tell everybody, build relationships and making partnerships is how you make this business the easiest thing to. Again, I say easiest thing in this business is to get business.
yeah.
That's the easiest part, but you just got to focus on relationships and partnerships, and it's makes it easy.
Hey,
Is there
what are your
anything you guys go ahead?
Yeah, just a quick question. What are your thoughts on sending a thank you note? So I had the introductions, of course, to the senior living communities this past week. Do you do it via email or do you actually do a handwritten?
I always drop off a purple orchid with a little card that says, I wanted to thank you. And just like this beautiful orchid, it takes time and attention and care for it to keep developing and reblooming. I'm here to develop our relationship and knowing that it's not a one-time thing, that I'm here to, be here for the long run, something like that. Um, and then on the blue, on the orchid, it has like my sticker, and then they put it up in the office or they put it out in the front, and then I tell them that all it takes is two ice cubes every single week, and that orchid can keep blooming. And I have one that's bloomed 6 different times, and people mostly think that orchids are a one-time thing that dies off. And I want to let them just to show them that I'm going to keep being here, just constant, gentle pressure to be here to nurture the relationship.
That's pretty cool.
And they're like an orchid's like $25. I mean, so it's not like a huge thing. And yeah, that's what I would recommend. I'm always in person, face to face, as many times as I can get them to see my face and show up and be there. That's what I do.
Would you let them know you're coming ahead of time? Do you drop it off at the
Not
front
not
desk?
not on that time. That one I would just show up to thank them. I mean, I might call to see, make sure that they're there, like, call in and say, hey, I just want to make sure Mary's there or whoever your contact is. But I would pretty much just show up. And sometimes it's like, even if they're not there, it kind of even goes a longer way because then they show up and they're like, hey, Lisa came and gave you a gift. It's on your desk. It's like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. And then, you know, it gets another interaction.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Anyone else have anything they want to talk about? Sure. Oh man, I'm tired today. All right. Well, today, during if no one else has anything they want to lead off with, I was just going to kind of more go over like really understanding the challenges that you know, get into the senior space, what it represents. The first one I want to say is like real estate is an emotional transaction. It is an emotional situation. It's one of the most stressful things in someone's life, but it's exemplified or exaggerated or amplified, however, you know, with whatever the right word is, when you're dealing with seniors and their families. That, you know, you're not just dealing with listing the home that they've had for 30 years. You're dealing with all the memories that come with it. You're dealing with the fact that maybe the spouse helped build the home, or the spouse helped decorate the home, or this is where the kids used to live and they haven't changed the room since the kids moved out. Maybe the grandkids have come and moved in. You're dealing with the fact they know all the neighbors and they know, you know, the mailman's name, and they are so comfortable in this standpoint, which makes them, you know, it's extremely vulnerable because now they're like, it's the unknown. Most people don't like change. They're going to start changing everything. Then you have to do the anxiety of like downsizing, like what do I get rid of, what don't, what if I need it, what if I don't, like it's so much. And it's they're leaving the familiarity, they're leaving their memories. And if you read the book How to Say It to Seniors, or even Keeping the Memories, Losing the Stuff, they are afraid that if they lose the stuff, if they move from the home, they're going to lose their memories. Because, you know, as we get older, you know, it's harder and harder to remember different things. So you have to be really sensitive to that. Um, and, you know, being able to talk them through it. I mean, I'm helping a lady. I think I've talked about it now for 4 more months. It was over a year ago that she called me and said, I want to list my property. I went over, met with her, we took the listing agreement. We still have not been able to put the house on the market because she is so unsure about what to do. And I've spent countless hours talking to her. And if I would be like most agents, I would have lost that client. Through the conversations, she has $1 million property in my town. She's got 3 properties in New York worth over $3 million each. She has $1 million property in Florida, and she has some property in Ohio for some reason. But it will all be mine at one point in time. So, and I think if we as realtors, a lot of times we think, I need now business. I need business today. What can I do to get a deal today? And I think it's just the wrong way of doing business. I think one, commission breath comes off, but 2, you're not building a business that way. You're being a salesperson, and we don't sell things. Like, we do not sell houses, despite what anyone wants to say. If we were able to sell things, we would be able to convince a seller to sell a home they don't want to sell and convince a buyer to buy a home they don't want to buy. And I've met some really good salespeople, and I've never met those 2 things. So we are a relationship building, a partnership making. That's what we do. And if you think of that as we build this business, that's how you truly build a business, that you attract business and that you're not chasing it and that you're not renting your business. When you do third-party lead generation, you're renting your business. When you're calling NODs and FSBOs, you're renting your business. But when you build a relationship and make a partnership, you are building equity in your business, because that equity grows, the appreciation grows, because the more and more time relationship you build, the more it expands out. And especially if you start specialized with seniors and families, every one person is like meeting 4 to 8 different people. If you start talking about their moms, their dads, their husbands, their wives, moms or dads, their grandmas, their grandpas, like it just grows out. And that goes back into, you know, the challenges is the family dynamics is, you know, I think I've said it before, but you know, there's always memes or posts going on. Oh, you know, I have this deal, and nothing kills a deal faster than the dads, you know, than the buyer's dad showing up for the home inspection. I'm like, well, nothing kills a deal faster and harder than the son who's a professional estate planner come in to kill your deal and think that you're taking advantage of mom. There's so many scammers and vultures out there. It happens with inside the family and outside the family, and everybody is sensitive to it, and they're all protecting it. And you're not just dealing with your client's house, you're also dealing with the kids' wealth, their inheritance, their protection of their mom and dad if it's the right thing. And everyone's confused because no one really knows what to do. And so there's a lot of times there's conflicting options. One son wants the mom to sell, one daughter does not want and it's you're battling it. So you really have to understand the emotions and the family dynamics of everything. And you know, and then sometimes you'll have that like the one client I'm talking about, she wants to sell. Her son who lives at the property in my town does not want to sell and just thinks that mom should just keep paying the $4,600 a month, even though it's draining her accounts. But he doesn't want to sell, and why would he want to sell? Oh, mom, it's not the good thing. It's not a good thing. No, we just keep it. He doesn't pay anything, and he lives at the house, and he works, on the computer and plays video games all day long, and he's 40 something years old. Of course, he doesn't want to sell. And he's not a professional, but she's confided in him and she coddled him. And so like she gets her advice from him, and as well as he's totally dependent on her. So you have this dynamic and it's going on, and like you just really have to know like how to take the reins and walk them through it. And in this situation, I mean, I've straight up told her like, look, if you were my mom, I would tell you to sell in a heartbeat. Like I am not telling you advice. I don't even care if you use me. You need to sell this property. You are bleeding yourself dry. It doesn't make any sense to keep it. And she just cannot get there with her just yet. So any thoughts on that? Any feedback, any situations you guys have dealt with? Anyone resonate with anything?
Yeah, family dynamics are definitely a thing. I went through it with my own family when my mom she had a stroke, and
Mm.
I had an older brother that was, dealing with things in a different state. And unfortunately, he was probably not the right person to do it. And it's difficult when you're dealing with different personalities and the dynamics and whatnot. So I think that's the challenge.
Yeah, it's definitely a real challenge. I think it's why I usually charge more for helping seniors and their families. So there's a lot more involved. It's not as simple as just going finding a house for a first time home buyer and getting a house spot. So yeah, that would be definitely going through there. So I think those are and that's where I think really empower yourself through education, reading the book How to Say It to Seniors, the fragile years, keeping the memories, losing the stuff. I think all those will help you. And then also not being afraid to give those. And I mean, I give the How to Say It to Seniors to my senior clients and saying, look, if you want to be able to communicate better with your kids or your loved ones, this is a great book. Now, I know it's going to be directed towards how to have a conversation with you yourself, but I think you yourself understanding how to have a conversation will help you have a conversation with others and explain to others exactly what's going on. Or at least understanding where they're coming from when they're talking about, hey, mom, you really need to downsize or you really need to get rid of this. They're coming from not wanting to control you, but to try to help you, and they just don't know how to say it. And you guys are getting frustrated with each other. And sometimes I tell family members, like, sometimes having a professional come in to talk about it I can say the same things you're saying, or you can say the same things I'm saying, but my words are heard differently. Um, so because the last thing that the aging parent or grandparent wants is them to feel like someone is trying to be their parent. They want to be in control and they don't want to be told what to do. So And then that, kind of leads right into the financial complexity of the deals. Again, they're scared that they're not going to have enough money to live out their years of retirement. They don't understand capital gain taxes. They don't understand how they're going to be able to go apply for a new loan, or that they've been living off of $2,000 a month. And how are they going to ever afford $8,000 or $6,000 a month at a senior living community? It's the weirdest thing, but I meet people all the time that have hundreds of thousands, if not even like millions of dollars in their equity in their home, and they just don't understand how it works, and understanding that if they would just take out that money, sell the property and put that money in the interest bearing account, they would have so much more money just from the interest that they're doing. So I will sometimes do that. I'm like, look, if you have, and I'll pull out my calculator just like I'm about to do right now, and let's just say, okay, you have $250,000 of equity that you're going to be able to take out of your home, or when you sell it, that's what you're going to get. You go put it into an interest bearing account that you're going to get 7% return. You're going to make $17,000 a year. That's an extra $1,458 a month that you're going to be able to make just in interest without even spending down your money. Sometimes that'll double what they're getting from Social Security. And all of a sudden they're like, whoa, what would I do with all that money? So just like showing them with real stats and real facts and understanding the financial standpoint of it. And it's also a reason why to have a financial planner. I mean, there's some annuities, there's some index funds that will get anywhere from 8 to 12% return on the money. Now, even though their account's not growing, they can live off of that amount. Any questions on any of that part? All right. It's a lively group today.
What's the best course for us to take to learn some of those strategies?
To learn like capital gain strategies.
Yeah, capital gains, and really to be knowledgeable when you're talking to them about, you know, financial possibilities and taxes, and they're
So I think that really just comes, I mean, a lot of it's going to come from your own like search for knowledge, but also that's why it's so important to build a good BOD. It's why you go interview financial planners and tax planners, and you start asking them, okay, so I deal with a lot of seniors and their clients. How do you help them? Or I'm a senior, I'm 72 years old, I got $300,000 to equity. What would you suggest or advise your clients to do in this situation? Or if I was your client, what would you suggest? Um, so that's one. I mean, I hate to say it, AI and Google. I mean, just Google these questions. I have $250,000 of equity in my home. You're my financial planner that is conservative, and you want to teach me how to live off the interest and the compounding interest in my account. What would you suggest, or who should I call, or what programs are there? And start learning about it. And it's just, I really believe every single person that's an agent should do 1 hour of education every single day, and then just go share with what you're learning. You're not advising clients, you're educating clients, and there's a total difference. um, so I think that's one. Learning as much as you can about the 1031 exchange and the 121C, and again, just researching all of it. I do a class on, 14 different strategies to eliminate capital gain taxes. When it comes down to it, I talk about 7, because some of the ones are so unique, as well as like they're for like the people that have $40 million of wealth. Like there's not a lot of people that I'm going to run into that have $40 million of wealth that need a family owned company. But if someone does have $40 million of wealth, a family owned company is one of the best ways to do it, or utilizing a irrevocable trust and a life insurance trust and a term remainder trust combined all together would be another thing. Reading, I think it's called The Rockefeller Technique, is another great book that everyone should read, because the Rockefellers are one of the only generational wealthy families in our country that has survived more than 2 generations. I laugh when people say, "Oh, the wealthy are wealthy because that their dad was rich or their mom, or they just inherited a bunch of money." That's the furthest thing from the truth. Generational wealth in this country statistically only lasts 2 generations. That meaning that the money's gone. And if you just look at it just like in pure logic, if there's $20 million of wealth, which I believe that's a wealthy family, and they got $20 million of wealth, when they pass away, if they had 3 kids, that wealth is divided up into 3. So now you have 8,333,000 or whatever it is. Then the book, I believe it's called the Rockefeller Technique. But I mean, again, I think you can Google it, Rockefeller Technique. But if I actually be at my office, and I think it's on Audible as well. But what they do is, one, they build a trust, and it's a like a family trust that they build. And in order to be a beneficiary of this trust, you need to go get life insurance, and as much life insurance as you possibly can. So now you get life insurance. So now the dad has a trust. Their 3 kids want to be beneficiaries. They have to go get an exorbitant amount of life insurance and name the trust as the beneficiary. So, and the dad did the same thing. So when the dad died, he had his wealth, $20 million, which he was able to get an exorbitant amount of life insurance because of his wealth. So when he dies, it fills the trust. Now the 3 kids come in, they have to maintain their life insurance. And now that they're actually part of the trust, they get to go put more insurance into their thing. They each have 2, 3 kids. They get insurance. And now when those 3 kids died, their life insurance fills in and waterfalls into the trust. And now if they had each has 2 kids, now they got 6, and it just keeps waterfalling in, and they keep growing more and more wealth. And the more that that trust is worth and the value of that trust, that's how you get life insurance, and you can keep getting more and more life insurance, and to the point where now they can just live off of the interest. Um, so learning that there's ways that people can, let's say someone has some equity in their property, and there's going to be $300,000 of capital gain taxes. Well, they could sell and with their amount, go get an absorbent amount of life insurance that thou now will pay the kids life insurance. So now instead of selling, you can sell through a deferred sales trust or a charitable remainder trust. The money is not taxed at that point in time. And then when the kids inherit the money, they're going to lose the stuff up in cost basis. But because they had an exorbitant amount of life insurance, it's going to pay for the capital gains taxes as well as overflow the trust. And you just keep building wealth like that. It's a waterfall technique or waterfall, the waterfall strategy. So and I go to, anytime I see like in the newspaper or I'll see on Facebook that's, there's a financial group or a tax planning group or a estate planning group having a seminar, I join. A lot of times they're free, but I'll go listen because different people have different techniques, and I want to learn as much as I possibly can. One, for myself, but 2, but then I can educate clients and go, hey, are you aware of this? So that's called a dynasty trust. I think of the name of it. And that's what I have. I have a living trust, and then I have a dynasty trust. And all the pour over stuff goes into my dynasty trust. Or if I make a certain amount of wealth, some of it will be held in my trust, and the rest of it will go to my dynasty trust. But my life insurance policies that I keep building up, and every 3 years I try to get more and more and more life insurance, it's going to all fill into that dynasty trust. And in order for my kids to be part of the beneficiaries, they have to go get life insurance. And all my kids, I have life insurance on. Um, so I don't know. I mean, again, the KW planner community, I did learn surface stuff, but it opened my mind up. I wanted to be more than an agent. I wanted to learn all this different things, and it really opened my mind to going, hey, wait a sec, I can go learn this. And so sometimes I'm like, okay, I want to go learn this today or this week, or I want to read this book. I mean, my Audibles, I'll tell you, there's a couple books that are great. and then I'll answer the questions in the chat because I see a couple of them. So there is a book, I'll write it in the chat while I'm here. There's a book called, it's called Tax Free Wealth by Tom Wheelwright. Then it's Wright, W-R-I-T-T. There's another one called Real Estate Tax Deferral Strategies by Paul Getty. And there's one more there. Oh, the book on advanced tax. Those would be, and if you haven't read it, I mean, haven't read Rich Dad Poor Dad. That's, I mean, every person should read that book. Let me look at the questions. I never thought about sharing that book with a senior. Yeah, me too, Sherry. I at the beginning I didn't, but when I do my expos, I have like there's like 5 different books I put out, and How to Save the Senior is one of them. And I started going like so many different seniors picked up that book and go, that's interesting. I'm like, oh, it's actually a great book. And I started giving it to people, and they're like, oh my God, I got so much from this. It helps me communicate with my kids so much better. Yeah, the financial planning side, again, I think it's really teaming up and learning. And my financial planner, like, we talk probably once a month at least, and sometimes we're on the phone for about an hour and we just share ideas. And the cool part is he now looks at me as like almost the same level as him, because I've taught him about deferring taxes with real estate and like how to do it. And he now refers me to people, and we'll start brainstorming and going, okay, now what can we do? What can we do? And the first client he referred me, he's like, I got them taken care of, blah, blah, blah. And we went through it, and they ended up paying about $100,000 in taxes. And because they want to take money out. And in the beginning, I let him just handle all of that. And I was like, okay, I can handle your 1031 exchange. And I didn't really understand why they were doing it, but I thought he knew something. And when it came down to it at the very end, right before the transaction closed, it's like, hey, next time, if they want money out, advise them to take a loan out, 4 to 6 months to a year earlier, because that's tax free. Now they can do whatever they want with that money. Then when we sell the house, we can still do our 1031 exchange and go into your DST that you're suggesting them going to. And he goes, oh my God, dude, I didn't even think about that. So sometimes, even though he's in that world and he's trying to help them eliminate capital gain taxes, sometimes they don't think of all the different options. So that would be, again, like, and meeting, like, that's why I say, like, don't just find one financial planner and just be like, okay, that's it, I'm done. Keep meeting more and more and more of them, and learning as much as you can about them, and find out what their specialty is. Oh, I specialize helping seniors and their family. I specialize helping, people that are 30 build wealth. I only deal with wealthy people. I will take a client that makes $5,000 a month. Like, find out because they're not all the same, and they're not going to all specialize in different things. And when you're coming across clients, you might meet someone who is extremely wealthy, but their kids are just starting their wealth. So it's not the same financial planner that's going to help them both. What was the book? I believe Rockefeller. I think that's what it's called. Let's see if I know this. They'll touch on a little bit, but it's not all about it. But Mastering the Rockefeller Habits is a good one. Let me look it up, see if I can find it. Oh, and then I have to go because my kids. Rockefeller waterfall. So you can do rock. And I bet if Rockefeller waterfall method. I don't know if that's the book, but that'll at least get you on the right path and down the Google that would get you down the right path. I'm trying to think there's the book, but everyone's selling their program on that. But again, there's so much free stuff that just use people's free things or go from person to person. Okay, perfect. Well, I have to go because I'm taking my kids to school, but I hope you guys appreciate it today. And again, I think this might be the last Friday that I do it at 7 a.m. I think I'm going to push it back to like 8 or 8:30 a.m. my time, to allow people from the West Coast to at least have one day to do an LFG call. So hopefully it's not too late for you guys, but I thank you guys very much, and we'll go from there.
Thanks, Cory.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.